Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
But no, I just right up front, I want to say thank you for doing this. It started to feel like it was getting difficult to like get a date with you guys. Like I really wanted to have you guys back, and I was like, is this going to happen or not? So, and then inviting you on the podcast, I wanted to get to know you a little bit because you've been here the one time and you were so impressive. Mm-hmm. I was like, God damn, waiting for it. I've been listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Eric and Devin from American Theory.
Hello.
Again, thanks again for doing this. And how long have you guys been doing it? 2018, is that right? I did a little bit of research.
Yeah, well, I guess 2018 is when we first released anything, but we had been jamming since, 2016 around, so we met.
I think 2015, it was right after we all finished freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
That was like when we first started
Oh,
practicing
so y'all
together.
started, like, y'all were all high school buddies.
We were babies, yeah.
High school
Right on.
sweethearts, you know.
Do we want to shout out your team or no?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we're missing Nick, and we're missing John and Mike. So that's our 2 guitar players and our bass player / drummer.
Right on. Right. And for those who don't know, American Theory will be here on Saturday, December 7th. So get tickets with what a lineup you put together.
Yeah.
I mean, getting Sunbreak back up in here, Shallows, Signals, and then so thanks for letting me add SWAE. They fit right in with the bill.
Yeah.
SWAE was great. They played here once before too, and I was really impressed with those guys.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a killer show, no question about that. And yeah, dude, let's start with Devil, dude. I fucking love that song, man. Like, that's such a good song. How'd that come about?
That was mainly this dude over here.
So
You wrote that?
So we were, while we were releasing the songs that came out prior to Devil, I think we were all kind of wanting to go in a different direction where everything was a little bit ballsier, heavier. We want to use lower tune guitars. We want to do more screaming. And I didn't really know how to scream, but Eric had been practicing screaming for a long time. And he kind of like helped put that heavier influence into our writing. And so that song was like the first one, like the first idea we had that we fully finished. That was like, let's just write something that's just all out, just heavy, low tune chugging. And it was kind of a good balance of like just getting back to just what makes a song really good. Like just simplifying stuff, not trying to do too much, and just let the simple parts be really good and let that carry the song. So
yeah, it's a very well written song. I mean,
appreciate it.
With
Thank
the
you.
synth in there and like just it's catchy as fuck. Like it really, you guys nailed it with that. I get kind of like Bring Me the Horizon vibes.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
for sure.
which
Big Bring Me
I'm
the
sure
Horizon
is an
fans over
influence
here.
for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, is that kind of the direction you're going with the new stuff you're writing?
Yeah. In a way, I would say. I mean, yeah, we've been collaborating a lot, and we've been even talking on the way over here about, directions we're even trying to go to live and everything. But definitely heavier. We're just trying to, I think the last set of singles, which was Devil, Love You to Life, and Drowning, kind of showed like, more like, Devil was like more of like a radio rock, catchy chorus song, but still heavy.
Well, the subject material is heavy.
Yeah, definitely.
And is that personal for you?
No, I don't
want to make you cry or nothing, but I mean, tell people about it. Like it sounds like a personal
It
song.
wasn't something that I personally experienced myself growing up, but people in my family have grown up in abusive households, whether it was siblings or parents, and that was, it's something that I kind of grew up with thinking that it was like normal, like this is just how their dad is or whatever, and then as I got older, realized like this is a huge problem, and I think I was really interested in how it's not just like what makes a person act like this, like what turns someone into an abusive parent, and it's this cycle of like the people who are the victims of it are the ones that are at risk of becoming the same thing.
Yeah.
And so that specific part of it was something that made it super scary to me. That it's not like just
this
some
could
random
happen to
chance.
me. Like,
yeah, this could,
this could be normal for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this weird, tough thing of like the people who are at most risk of becoming an abusive person are the ones who suffered that abuse, and at the same time, it's still their responsibility to not end up like that.
Yeah.
And to make the right decisions and learn how to go to therapy and learn how to control their emotions in a healthy way. And so, for that song, I wanted to write something bold, and it had just been on my mind for a little bit. I'd had the lyric, like the title
Are
"Devil"
you proud
for the
of who
longest
you
time.
are?
Yeah. I'd had like those two things for a long time and didn't really know how to like I was like, what's going to be
How do
the
you
devil
connect
in
them?
this song? Like what am I talking about here? And then just bits and pieces of different ideas kind of happened, and then I was like, oh, this all kind of goes together. So yeah.
Yeah, very well. I gotta give you your flowers on that one, man.
Thank
Killer.
you.
And then the next one, "Love You to Life," is like completely opposite vibe.
That's kind of where I was going out with that. Like, we kind of tried to do like a kind of somewhere in between, which is Devil, then Love You to Life, very poppy. Like, it was mainly Devin writing that too, and then he was like, all right, I need something heavy. So then I started getting in the room with some of the other boys, and then we did our last single, which was Drowning, which is a complete polar opposite from Love You to Life. So I think anything moving forward is going to take influence from those three sides of the music, but I don't know, we're kind of going all sorts of directions, I think, with our new stuff, but we've been...
Yeah, so I love heavy music. I have for a very long time, always have. And one of my favorite things about metal from like 2000 on is it got less angry and more positive, like verbally, vocalists started writing all these like almost inspirational type lyrics to this heavy music, and like I actually like a lot of the newer metal more than the shit I grew up with, just because the message is so positive. And like just like with Devil, the subject material is heavy, but the message is positive.
Right.
And I get that from you guys, and I love that the youth are taking the mantle for heavy music and making positive messages with it. I think it's great, especially for kids that do grow up in abusive households, because let's face it, man, a lot of us started listening to heavy music because we're all pissed off because our dads were assholes. You know what I mean? Or their dad wasn't there, or mom was a drunk, or whatever the case may be. No one's perfect.
And you hear it all the time about people that music was the thing that changed their, that inspired them to be different or do something different.
Yeah.
So
and it's nice. I love that like the next generation is making music that people can like latch onto to like get through tough times and stuff.
not just make them madder or worse.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of kids in the '80s running around tearing rooms up, beating on shit, listening to thrash metal.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I love me some Iron Maiden, but
I think part of that for me personally was I grew up playing guitar in church, and a lot of my favorite bands were like the Christian metalcore bands, which for me at the time I was like, this is opposite. Like, how can you be like worshiping but also be like a very, very mean sounding band? And I realize now, like in reflection, a lot of those bands, were kind of posturing in a way. It was just an easy way to get, to the festivals and to get, it was an easier path maybe to being a successful band.
Yeah.
But some of the bands in the midst of that were still writing like, we're not going to write about how much we hate somebody or anything violent. We want to write about like not just the bad problems, but how to overcome them as well. And I think that's the one thing I really took from Christian bands that I listened to growing up was like, if I'm going to write something, I do want it to be positive. I don't want to write like worship music or anything, but I do want to talk about like, I want everything to have some sort of happy ending, even if it's like super dark and depressing.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe more powerful there. Like how tragic can you set the circumstances so that the positive part can really shine through, more drastically.
Yeah, I definitely can appreciate that. I like that. It's some of the best art is heavy. It comes from heavy subject material. So I think it's cool, man. I think it's super cool. How are you being received? Because you guys are one of the few bands that are actually getting out of the Charlotte area and touring and stuff, which is awesome.
Yes.
You guys are young. You got time to do it. Like, please keep doing that. How are you finding yourselves being received when you go to, Pennsylvania or Virginia or wherever else you go?
We hope they like us. No, I would say it depends because our last tour was with a band called Slackjaw and then Paris Bridge, and then we had local support in each of those cities. And I mean, I say the fans were like awesome because they were there for Slackjaw, which was the headlining, and we're just one of the supporting touring bands. But every city, I feel like they were like hyped for our music. They were buying merch. They were definitely open to the.
That's I think a testament to Slackjaw too. Like their fans are awesome. People. We played a show in San Antonio. We had driven, I think, 17 hours to get to that show. It was the last of our
young man's game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We split that up into 4 days worth of driving because we had the shows on the way there. But after that show was just a straight 17-hour drive back. So that was crazy. But we played that show and we talked to somebody there who had driven like I think 13 or maybe like even more. It might have been like 15 hours from like New Mexico to come to that show just to see Slackjaw, and it was a 90 cap venue. It's not a real like music venue. It was just a bar that we just played on like the floor with a couple of like little PA towers. And they drove 14 hours out to just to see Slackjaw.
That's crazy. That happened to us last week. We had Lit Frank here, who's like a TikTok rapper.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And
we had people from Ohio.
Yeah, we had a couple from Ohio. There was this one girl who I talked to outside for a minute. She couldn't have been more than like 22 years old, and she drove all the way from Boston.
We had people from Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people came from all over to see this guy, and I made a post about it the next day about how encouraging it was to see, just like I said about you, to see younger artists like inspiring people and like giving people some, because like people my age, most people my age like to shit on the whole like social media famous thing and whatever. Like when music was exploding in the 90s, our parents hated it too. You know what I mean? Like that's just what people do. Like you shit on the next generation. But I'm the opposite. I think it's wonderful. I think it's absolutely awesome that the next generation have found a creative outlet to express themselves and like build community, because like we were at the mercy of our neighbors. It was like whatever whatever their neighborhood was doing, you were either part of, you were either in that group or you were the weird kid. Like, you were left out.
Damn, I feel so seen right now. Thanks.
I mean, my neighborhood was really small. We had to we would play. During football season, we would play football games with the kids from the neighborhood, like down, I live out in the mountains, so like you'd have to cut through the woods to like get to like the next neighborhood. And we'd get together every year and like play football against each other and get all rough and stuff. It was like, this is my neighborhood. We had to represent. But now you have, now you've got social media and the connect. You can be connected to anyone. Are you seeing a lot of success with social media? Because you guys do a really good job of putting reels out and stuff.
That's his.
That's your
department.
level of experience.
I mean, we were getting into it for like a little bit. I have to kind of get better at it. I think it's more of like I think the way I kind of approach social media is kind of how we try and approach music. It's like if we feel inspired and feel good about posting something, then we do. Because I was kind of catching myself like making stuff that I didn't even really feel like proud of. So I was like, nobody else is gonna like it if I don't like it. So we've kind of taken a break from it. As we were like working on new songs, we're like, oh, let's like try and like make some content that like we're proud of. Because I do like the process of it, but I think that's where the good content creators come out, or the people that like get really creative and they're like putting stuff out that like isn't super stale or anything.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, and I don't know shit about shit, but if you're in the lab right now and you're writing, you're doing a lot of writing, I would invite somebody to the band room to like record some of that shit, try to capture moments.
Yeah,
that's true.
And just bank it.
That is true, because I do like seeing that content myself. So
the people love behind the scenes stuff.
I'm constantly filming in the green room because I'm like, I'm gonna collect it and then I'm just gonna and occasionally I'll just put it out there.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
Sometimes I had to put songs over it because the conversations don't need to be repeated, but
Oh yeah.
Green room antics. Y'all got any fun, wild stories about being on the road?
Do we? I'm trying to think. Last tour went pretty smooth. I can't lie.
Last
I
tour,
was surprised.
I
mean, we beat a hurricane because there was a hurricane coming through the Texas, Louisiana area, and if we would have been there, 10 hours after.
I think what it was, So that in San Antonio the San Antonio show we played, we didn't have a hotel in San Antonio. We just had one in Houston because we played it the night before, because we're thinking like, let's do a little bit of driving after the show, so we only have 14 hours the next day. So we got to Houston at like 4 a.m. and then figured out that there was a hurricane coming. Hurricane Beryl was coming the next day. Like it was going to start like maybe like in the evening or like early morning. And so we're like, well, let's sleep for a couple hours and then get back on the road. So I thought we were going to get like 6 or 7 hours of sleep and then have a nice relaxing couple of days of driving. And then we read that. We're like, all right, sleep a couple hours and then we got to get out of here so that we can beat, the rush to get out of the city. So that was kind of crazy, but not, wild.
Yeah, see, we saw like photos of like the bridge we were on. We were like, oh yeah, it's like underwater right now. So I'm glad that we beat that.
Yeah, definitely.
So are you the only one that's married in the group?
Yes.
So how is your wife like? How, does she come on the road with you? Does she stay back? Like, how has that created any kind of an issue with you, marriage? Like, how do you hold it down?
So she's the breadwinner. she's got the good job. She's really, really good at it.
I was just a musician.
Yeah, I'm just like a giant kid just doing music. So, but she is usually staying back and holding down the fort at home. She'll go to shows. She'll travel to shows. Like if we're playing, we're playing in Raleigh, she might go up to a Raleigh show. She's got family in Raleigh, so that's a usually a good spot for her. She's traveled like within the state to see us, but usually on the tours it's just the band, and then we'll bring our friend Abe, who he does a lot of our video stuff. He's also our backup bass player as well. So if someone's missing, we can kind of reconfigure our band.
He's basically part of the band. Yeah. Whatever we need him to do, he's
That's
like, I'm
mom.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's the man. So usually it's just the six of us. Although actually, I guess Nick and Salem
sometimes.
Salem comes out to a lot of the tours too.
The thing I guess with like, especially like with longer runs or like further out runs, it's like the more people you bring, the more expensive it is. Unless they're like not doing anything, we would love to like have everybody there, but it's kind of tough sometimes.
Keep doing what you're doing, you might just get there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Great material. I played your stuff this morning for my wife. I was like, this is who we're interviewing today, and my daughter was like, that sounds like the music you listen to, Mommy. Because she's really right now. She's really into like Dayseeker.
Yes,
and that's a fucking killer band. Kudos to my wife for introducing me to Dayseeker.
Oh, yeah.
They're awesome. Of course, she's being in a Sleep Token right now. It's like everyone's in a Sleep Token right now.
Sad.
But that whole Currents, all that stuff, and so my 14-year-old was like, "It sounds like the music you listen to, Mommy." I was like, "Yeah, they're fucking good, right?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I think you're heading in the right direction, and it sounds like you guys are all tight. So like you got it tight, like you guys have been friends for a while, you respect each other.
Oh yeah.
I can't, I imagine. Does it ever get heated in the lab or in the band room or?
No, not really. That's
these kids. They are all so nice. Like, everyone's so fucking nice.
Yeah, we rarely had a conflict with a song or anything. Usually, Devin's mainly the guy that brings it together. Like we're working on a song, for example, and I sent our bass player, who also plays guitar, a drum track, and I was like, this is the kind of influence I'm kind of looking for. He wrote a riff over it. He sent it to Devin. Devin made a chorus, and we had like a full-on demo. And I think the process changes for every song as far as the writing goes. Sometimes Devin will already have like a fully fleshed out song, and then he would just try and like, change up the drums. Maybe we can like figure something else out with the guitars. But I think because we have it that way to where like everybody's kind of open to like changing things or adjusting it for the betterment of the song,
to make the song better.
Exactly.
Cool. Sounds like your heads are all in the right place too.
So
and I think it's helpful to see like, because we've been more collaborative overall since Devil. I think that was like the first song where it was really like, I'm taking ideas that everybody has, I'm taking everyone else's inspiration and trying to just be more producer and be a little less hands-on, and just letting everyone else's ideas sort of speak. And I think since then that's when our band changed. Like that's when we started having a lot more
Turn
success.
the corner, so to speak.
Yeah, it felt like a new
I
a new era for the band.
I can't imagine what did it feel like the first time you listened to that song back, like when it was finished recording. Like you all had to be like, oh, we got a good one, right? Like,
it did feel good. It really, like, honestly, it did. I feel like I did a really bad demo of it one time, like when I had first come up with the idea, and I think I sent it. I don't remember if I sent it to the whole band. I might have just sent it to you, and you're like, "This is my favorite thing we've
Dude, I think
done."
you played it in the car when we were like on one of our tours that like one spring, and I was like, "Dude,
It was
this
all
is,
like
I think
MIDI guitar, just like all like awful sounding instruments. I recorded the vocal just like a voice memo with headphones on, like just like worst production quality you could have, but."
But he picked up what you were putting down.
Yeah.
Oh, I always do. Yeah, we'll send each other. I mean, you can't even look at our voice memo apps because it'll be like, we'll like sing falsetto or like scream, like whisper scream into our phone, like with the track, and like
go something like
if
this.
anybody else hears it, they're gonna be like, "The fuck is this?" But then with us, we kind of like get it. We're like, "Oh yeah, I hear that." Like, I hear
it sounds
that.
like
Get
you
it
guys
down
have
so you
your own
don't forget
language.
That communication and that clicking, when you have a band and you have people that you click with, it just makes it so much easier to write stuff and for them to understand.
You guys are firing on all cylinders
Yeah.
right now. Like, I really want to see you guys ride this momentum and like
Yes.
keep it moving. Like, so I've been watching from afar. Like,
Right, we've been watching since the last time you
yeah,
were
since
here.
the first time you played here. Which shout out to Zach for putting you on that show, Zach Evans tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We love Zach here. He's one of my favorite people in the world, and he got you guys on that show, and I was unaware, and ever since then I've been watching, following your progress, and I'm like, I can't fucking wait to get them back in here.
Yeah, appreciate it. No, I'm glad that we're coming back though. Yeah, I'm glad we could work out a date and everything. And
Yeah, me too.
sick ass lineup too. So I'm really stoked about
Yeah.
this one. It's
Yeah.
our last one of the year too. So we're,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So
Do you want to take a minute? Let's promote the show for a minute.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
want to talk a little bit about the other bands, what your relationship is with them, and how you got them on the lineup?
yeah. So let's see. We have us, and then we have Sunbreak as a direct support. We know Sunbreak from Jesus, the bass player. He was
Didn't y'all see Sunbreak here?
actually no. That's how I met them. I was like trying to figure. I feel like I've seen them so many times. I went to a show actually at the Rooster, and it was I think Sunbreak. I think it was Den of Wolves. Maybe had a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that show.
White Horse played.
Yeah, White Horse. I can't.
Street.
Oh, Nova Mora. I also
Nova
met
Mora
Nova
was
there.
awesome.
That's a
Yeah,
killer
yeah.
band.
I was gonna say,
They
I
were
was-
almost on this lineup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
they
And
were
yeah,
almost-
they couldn't. They couldn't.
Dang.
Yeah.
I almost got. Because we were friends with them as well. And they. So we met through that show, and we're like, hey, we have some similar sound. Like, let's like stay in contact. And then we played Augusta a few times, and like every time we played there, they like pulled up, and supported us, and like. We've never actually played a show together, so we were like trying to fit a show together. And I'm like, oh, you guys have played here before. Like, I know you're trying to like break into this scene a little more. So we invited them on through that, and I'm excited to see their set as well because they just released an album that
They
sounded
did,
good.
yeah. That's another band that's putting in work. Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
doing, I'm a fan of theirs as well. Like I said, the first time, it's funny. The first time they played here, that was a really difficult show to put together. Like they emailed us through the website, which thank you, that's the right way to do it. They emailed us through the website, and I went and listened to their music and was like, oh, these guys are fucking good. But they're from Georgia, so like they're not known here. So I was like, we got to put together a show that will get people out here to see you. I don't want you to drive up here for nothing. Like, we want to make some money, and then we just they kept. I guess they have their eyes on the Charlotte scene because they seem to know like all these different bands that can draw.
Yeah.
And
Who
then
were
we
they
kept-
on there with?
It was Den of Wolves, I think was the headliner for that show.
Yeah.
And Nova Mora.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
And,
just want to make sure.
And they were so impressed. That's a really good band too.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was really difficult. Like we went back and forth for weeks, like trying to get a date that everybody could work for, trying to get a headliner that everybody could agree on, and then we finally got them up here. So like I appreciate like their patience. To put that together. Sometimes it's like that. So bands reach out and they're like, "Hey, I just want to be on a show," but you got to make it work. Like you can't put like a hardcore band on a progressive show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
not gonna
it doesn't work.
Exactly,
People
yeah.
will leave the room.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a little while to put shows together, but I'm glad they did because now they have a relationship with you guys. Now you're
yeah.
expanding your wings. Now talk about Shallow Signals because I think this is going to be their first time here.
I think they might have played. I think they said the festival.
Oh, that's right. They were at
played the
Bruce
festival.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
now that was the name
I
sounds
believe so.
familiar.
The
Oh, yeah.
festivals, it's hard for me to watch anyone on the
Oh.
festivals. I'm
I don't
working
get to
to
really watch
death.
them either
Yeah.
because I'm.
I was gonna
working
say,
too.
yeah, I know it's busy for you, and also there's a bunch of people on the lineup, so it makes it difficult. That might be their only time that they've played here. They've been trying to break into this area as well, and they've hosted us in Wilmington, and I think this will be our second time playing with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
because
played with them in Wilmington
because they're out of
one year.
Wilmington. Yeah, and we met them honestly through social media, like, and just being like, hey, you guys fucking sound sick. And we're like, hey, you guys sound sick too. Let's book some shows together, and then it kind of clicked like that. It was
Very cool.
a little DM action, you know.
Yeah.
little band tender.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
They
then
rip.
SWAE, I've actually seen live too. I saw him at the Milestone one time. I can't remember who was on that bill. I've been to the Milestone plenty of times.
They've
But
actually
I was,
played a lot of shows here lately.
yeah. No, they were sick too. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to talk to them though. Might have been too drunk or something. But
They were one of the most laid back bands. Like they
Oh,
were
yeah.
just so chill. Like they almost left without getting paid. I had to like run them down. Like, yo, I got some money for you, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
they're the chill dog that I'm seeing online right now.
When you're just a chill guy.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
chill guy.
that's
Yeah,
Slay.
dude. Yeah, but no, they were so good when I saw them live. So whenever you were like, oh, can we like add them on the bill? I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah.
yeah, after they played here the first time, like they really loved the stage here. They loved the vibe of the room, and they were very much about like we'd love to come back. And I was just like, I'll find the right opportunity, and then a couple months
Yeah.
later, you know, this popped up. Because I wanted you guys here so bad. I told you, I don't know if you remember, I was like, do whatever you want, like it's your show. And then I came back and was like, can we put SWAE on?
Yeah.
But no, it is going to be a killer show.
good.
Like,
Oh, yeah,
like it's
100%.
going to be a really fun night, and we encourage you to come Saturday, December 7th. You can get tickets online, theroostergastonia.com/events. Just scroll down till you see the American Theory show, and come. God, it's going to be. Talk about the name. Why American Theory?
Oh yeah.
That's all you, buddy.
It's such a disappointing story because there wasn't like a cool meaning behind it or anything. It's just kind of like words that we put together. I remember I was in high school history class, and I was like, I was making a dumb joke. I was like, we're like in American Theory right now. Like it was U.S. history. We're in American Theory class right now. And then I think really we only chose it because our previous name that we were thinking about using was even worse. And so we're like, all right,
Yeah,
well,
we need
What
to-
was
at
it?
least a step up. It was Ask and Remember.
Yeah, which sounds like asking Alexandria and A Day to Remember combined. So we're like, wait a second,
yeah.
should probably change this.
Yeah, we're ripping off every band right now.
But I think,
so.
yeah, because even that wasn't like a final name. I think American Theory for a while. We're just like, oh, let's like roll with this, and it kind of. We started playing shows, and then we got
Yeah,
too deep, and then
exactly.
started getting branding
I,
as it. And
I
we're
like the name. I mean, if you know, like you, I mean, you're on record now saying that, you know, there's no deep meaning to it, but you know, you can think about how, you know, America kind of is a theory at this point. It's not what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can read into it if you want, but
Yeah.
the guys are telling you don't.
Yeah,
There's nothing special about it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've had people come up to us and be like, "Oh, is this what it means?" And we're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
roll with that."
Yeah. Every definition they give for it's like, is this where you got it from? Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Whatever it means to you. It's the same thing with your songs. Like
Right.
however it
That's true.
hits you, and you know, whatever your intention might be, somebody may get a completely different interpretation, and that's cool. Like
Yeah.
you want
That's
like,
art.
Yeah, you want that. You want people to be able to appreciate your art. However, you know, whatever helps them, you know, through a rough time or get through the day or whatever, however you want to say it. So American Theory, yeah, so, it means nothing.
means nothing.
So last show of the year, what are your plans for 2025?
Just now started booking into it. I don't even know if I should be saying this because I don't like speaking too soon, but we're working on a record right now. So a lot of new songs. We'll actually be playing, like 3 of them for the show in December. So gonna debut those, and then basically working on new material, and then just seeing where kind of booking goes. Nothing super crazy to announce as of yet, but.
Yeah. We've got the record cooking. We're basically doing like final takes right now and kind of mixing like during the process. We do all of our production and stuff in house, and then Dave Harris studio be mastering. He does our mastering. So
Who is it?
Dave Harris.
Dave Harris.
Yeah.
He does a really killer job. So we're doing everything else in house, and then we'll be dropping some songs in 2025. I don't know if we'll have the whole record out in 2025, but
You'll be releasing singles,
yeah,
which
we'll
is
be-
how you have
we'll
to
be
do it
doing
now.
the waterfall.
Yeah, because we haven't released an album since 2018, and like we were gonna do another EP or something or some more singles, and I'm like, dude, the only album we have is one that we wrote when we were in high school. Like we should have something else on
Yeah.
like the
Our main course.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
and
So.
when you do get the album together and you want to have an album release party, you're welcome to do it here.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
thank you.
that's
Yeah,
so
this
cool.
is a
That'd
this is a
be
great
awesome.
spot for that. So
We love doing album release
We
parties.
really
They're
do.
a lot
It's
of
so
fun,
fun.
man.
Yeah,
They're a
yeah.
lot of- we just did one for Heathen Sun last week.
Oh,
and
yeah.
oh yeah,
Man,
we
that
play
was
with
a-
them.
that was a
Yeah,
fun
actually we play
time.
with Shallow Signals and
And Heathen Sun.
Oh, yeah?
We played with them at the same time.
Those guys are so
They are
fun.
so much fun.
Oh yeah,
I went and listened to the new album the other day
Yeah.
that they released. I was like, it's a fucking banger.
Right?
It's-
I feel like
it's
they
good.
make the venue look like an arena. They like bring out like
Oh
the
my
smoke
God, they
machine
always
and
do.
like they got the masks on and stuff. I think it's so sick. Like I take the production stuff very seriously. Like we're still working on that, but like whenever I see like lights, like even Shallow Signals has like a light show and everything. When I see that kind of stuff, it just makes it so much more. It makes it a show rather
Yeah.
than just like
So
it's playing music.
Y'all are playing with Enemies and Allies coming up, right? Or
Yeah,
did you
we-
already do it?
We've
That's
played
in
with them, but we do have
January, right?
January 11th, I
Yeah.
believe. It's in
Because like they are lights. I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah, they got a killer.
That was the
setup.
best. Last time we played with them was at a festival at the Milestone, and it was the best light show I think I've seen at the Milestone.
Right?
I was like, because before then I'd only seen them at a place in Hickory called the Premiere, which is
Yeah.
like a bigger capsize venue.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, looks like the Fillmore kind of deal.
Yeah, but when
you
it's in
know,
like a
but-
smaller venue, you're like, at first,
yeah.
you're like, whoa.
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, yeah. They take that seriously.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah, they
so.
really do.
Yeah. I mean, those lights are expensive.
Yes, they
Like-
are.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's worth the investment,
Yeah,
but you got to have somebody on your team that knows how to
yeah.
do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, we're doing slow progress with the kind of technical stuff like that. The lights are definitely a future move. Hopefully, we'll get those in 2025. I think we have everything set up to make the lights happen. We just need to
So
drop the money.
Are
and
you
program
currently
them.
putting a lot of like thought into like your aesthetic? Like do y'all talk about like what you're wearing and stuff like that, or
I mean, I feel like we did for a little bit. I mean, as far as like visual aesthetic, I mean, I'm trying to. That's why I kind of wanted to do an album because I was like, we can like kind of scrap everything we've done before and like find a color, find a theme.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of the reason why I wanted to do that. So I usually collaborate a lot with the artists and stuff to try and like whether it be like the album art or that kind of stuff.
All of that just adds to the experience so much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like
So
Hellfire 76 just puts on one of the best in their lights and the fog machine and just everything is so. It just adds.
yeah, the way
you're
Jared moves around the
involved now.
stage and stuff.
Yeah.
You're involved in the experience. You're not just you
Yeah.
know yeah.
yeah, so we're trying that. We don't have it figured out right now, but we're in the process of trying to be a little more thematic about it, you know, to build an experience with it. So it's kind of what we're working on.
Not just show up in a tank top, and,
Right.
Yeah.
and gym shorts,
Yeah, exactly.
which is
yeah.
cool too. Like there's some bands it works, you know.
Yeah.
They are. There's some bands
Yeah.
that it's just like their mismatch hodgepodge just works for them.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I guess for us, I think for a couple of shows, we're like, all right, we're going to wear this and like be super like thoughtful about it. And then we're like, then it feels like you're wearing a costume. Like we would
Yeah,
even be
we
like,
would
hey,
call
we
it
got to,
costumes.
yeah, we'd be like, oh, it's time to put our costume on. And even that like it doesn't feel super authentic. So somewhere in between where it's like not super like out there,
Right.
but also like still cohesive to it, I think is cool. But
You don't
still
look
gotta
like you
be-
just woke up and rolled out of bed, came to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's
So,
always, and I hate to see that they put so much into the costume that they're uncomfortable.
yeah.
So like, but it still looks good at the same time. But when they come off stage, they're about to die
Yeah.
because there's so much that I'm like, why? I know it looks good on stage, but
Yeah.
I remember I wore this hoodie at a show one time.
Yeah.
Just was like, this was my favorite hoodie for a bit. I was like, it looks cool. It's got a unique thing to it. And I tried to, just after the second song, I was just pouring sweat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it's probably after the first song.
Dude, I think
Yeah.
you're at the milestone.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
how
was
you
like-
even had a hoodie to begin with.
It was
the
November.
milestone's always hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, November in the milestone is still like
Yeah.
105
Oh,
degrees.
yeah.
So it was, not
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, we don't take that to. I mean, we don't have like masks or anything or like a set wardrobe, but you know, try to keep it somewhat cohesive whenever we can. You know.
We want to at least look like we're a band.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least
Well,
look
you know,
like we're
it's
gonna be
everyone's
on
got
stage.
different, theories or thoughts on like that type of thing. And I'm
Yeah.
curious because like you look good on stage. Like when you were here before, you guys definitely looked like the band that you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Oh, thank you.
so I was just curious. I think it's all great. I think whatever it is, if you're doing masks, that's fun. I went and saw a show one time, and this band come out, and they were all dressed in like Secret Service suits,
Oh,
and
that's
they all
cool.
had sunglasses on,
Okay.
right? And they come out, and their first song was heavy as fuck, and it was awesome. I was like, oh shit, look at this. But then the rest of their set was absolute garbage. And I was like, oh, that's why you dress up in suits, because your music sucks. And I'm not going to name them or something. And I don't like shitting on people, but it's like that was a concerted effort, like to grab people's attention.
Yeah.
But then there's other bands like Heathen Son. They do the jerseys and the mask, and it kind of goes with the
works.
vibe of
Yeah.
their music,
Yeah.
and it works. Midnight Massacre, they're all different characters on stage. Each of them are their individual like fictional character, and they're all playing characters on stage. That's cool too.
They're all different, but it still matches at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but then all right, perfect example. This is how I'm going to end this conversation.
Okay.
All right, everyone loves In This Moment, right? In This Moment is a great band. Love their music. I've been a fan since Beautiful Tragedy, right? Great band. But I never got to see them until after they put out the Blood album. And that's when Maria started doing the like wardrobe swaps like in between songs and stuff. Have you ever seen them live?
I have not seen it live.
So she does this thing where like she changes outfits in between songs,
Okay.
and meanwhile like in between songs like the band's just kind of like doing like instrumental stuff and it kind of slows down the show a little bit and they can play less. They play you can't play as many songs, right? So like they're just hitting hits and then like they bring in dancers like these weird mime dancers and it's cool the first time you see. You're like, oh, that was a fun show. But I like this band so much. I've seen them like 6 or 7 times. And I've seen that same fucking show every time. And I just want her to throw on a fucking T-shirt and just do
Power through it?
Yeah.
like, I want to hear that old school shit. I want to hear Star-Crossed Wasteland songs. Like, like I want to see them rip, but they've kind of like pigeonholed themselves into this show because when you get that big, every time you play a city, there's people there that's never seen you.
Yeah, that is
It's kind of how I feel about like Taylor Swift and all them, right? Because you go and it's a performance. It's not a show. I mean, it's a show, but it's not. I could watch it on TV and it'd be the same thing as being there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
production.
it's a little bit disconnected from the audience.
Yeah.
Really, it's kind of my point. Is that like it's cool, but you don't have to do it every time. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I just want to see you run around and scream. Like,
Yeah,
like get in
yeah.
people's faces, like get the crowd hyped up because in between songs you're like that energy in the crowd kind of
Yeah.
dips, and it's like no, I want to see you keep going,
yeah.
and they just won't play the old songs,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's I guess that's my cherry.
No, you're
on-
good. Sorry, I had to thought my
Yeah.
ADHD kicked in again. It's
Yeah.
not a song this time.
I guess my point is whatever it is you're doing on stage, just make it be interesting. Give people something to watch.
Right.
Put on a show.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, you guys do that well. Like it was fantastic. The energy you put out, you're a hard act to like I wouldn't want to play after you. You know what I'm saying? I would not like to be after you on
Thank
the
you.
This
That's
would
a
be
good
like one of those
compliment.
things where we were talking about before how the opening band
Yeah,
is
yeah.
better than the next two bands or even the headliner.
Yeah, for all you know, you
yeah.
might have done that to Slackjaw.
I wish, but they
They joked
really,
around
really
about
tight.
that sometimes, and I'm like, nah, they were.
They were going
one of the
like
tightest.
no
Where are they out
click.
of?
They're out of Greenville, right?
I think some of them live in Greenville, but they also like Augusta was like also kind of a home show for them too.
Oh,
so
that's
I think
right,
maybe
yeah, for the drummer, yeah,
Brady
Jacob.
and Jacob
Maybe we can get
live
them to
there.
open for you at at your album release party.
I mean, they can get people here.
They bring people
freaking
here though,
rip.
yeah, because Dallas, aka Soup, he's a big YouTuber. He's the singer for Slackjaw, so he's got like I don't
Like
even know
6
how-
million
like,
subscribers on YouTube.
So a lot of people that went to that tour were like big like Soup fans. Like they were a fan of his like YouTube.
They've never been to a metal show before.
Yeah, so they were just hyped for the experience.
They're cheering about the sound guy comes out to put a microphone down. They're like, yes.
yeah,
They're
it's,
just, everything
Wow,
is super
that's
cool
a
to
lot
them.
of energy.
Yeah, exactly,
That,
so-
yeah, we were definitely spoiled on that run because like I said, their fans are awesome, and everything was cool to them. They're coming up and talking to all the bands after the show. And Slackjaw, like I really didn't know what to expect because they are so popular, and it just seemed like this is some other hobby that Soup has. He's just like, I just like to go and play music for fun. So I was like, well, how tight is your band going to be? Because the music's good but everyone can sound good on Spotify. How good are you as a live band? They're going up there with no click, no lights, no tricks or anything. Just plug in and play, and they're unbelievably tight band.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Like no tempo fluctuation at all. It was so impressive.
Yeah. Every night.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, they
All
sounded
right, well, now
identical
I
every
guess we
night.
need
Right?
to try to get those guys in here.
Yeah.
I love it. You've given me something to look forward
Yes.
to.
Yeah, definitely check them out.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? Any words of wisdom? Any other shows? Well, you said this is the last show of the year.
This is the last show of the year, so
So
we'll
it's
keep
your
it,
last chance to see them in 2024. Get here, the Rooster, Saturday, December 7th.
Yep.
Get the tickets online. Let's make these guys some money. You're going to see Sunbreak. You're going to see Shallow Signals. You're going to see SWAE. It's going to be a killer show, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think all of those bands are releasing new music or have released new music, including us. So we'll be playing some new songs, unreleased songs. So
Yeah, go fuck your your algorithm up on Spotify and check these new.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait a second, what?
I meant fuck up your algorithm on Spotify and like play some of these local bands. Like,
Yes,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you'll be impressed. You'll be surprised how much you like this stuff, man.
And by the end of next year, when they show you all the stuff that you played, hopefully it'll be mostly local bands.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks again for doing this, fellas. I
Thank you
really,
for
really
having
appreciate
us,
it.
yeah.
Thank you. All right. Peace and love.